My name is Teresa Rosson and I'm 50 years old. My childhood was not good. My mom was abusive to me and treated me a lot differently than she did my brothers most of my life. And one of my brothers was mean to me, and he would chase me with bats, knives. I'd hide in the bathroom, lock the door, pull out the vanity so he couldn't get me. I was terrified of him, and he would just go off randomly. And this went on for years, probably even until I was in junior high, and he never got in trouble. Like, that was like normal. I thought that was normal growing up, that you just fight with your siblings like this and they hate you and are mean to you, and I didn't know any different because he never was disciplined for it. My mom and dad didn't have a great marriage, and my dad wasn't around a lot for my older brother, so I really thought Steve was kind of stepping in as a role model. We really just started spending a lot of time with Father Steve, and I just thought they were really good friends and they were close to each other. And then eventually in 1978, he took a trip with my brother across the United States. She mentioned to me that the police were going to come and arrest Steve when he got to our house. And I didn't understand why, so she explained to me that there were these people at a church in Fremont that made some accusations that he had touched these boys, and there were 3 of them, and he had tied them up and was doing exorcisms and things like that with them. And my mom said it was just people trying to get back at the church, that this really didn't happen, and Steve didn't want to put anybody through a trial or anything, so he pled no contest. And back then I didn't really know what that meant. I just believed my mom and that nothing happened, and it was these people trying to get back at the church. As I got older and I started having children of my own, this was like in the 90s, I can remember one summer being at home, and it was, I think, a Saturday in 1996, and my aunt called me and told me the most horrifying news I've ever heard. I didn't know what to do. I just knew I had to be strong. I didn't know what to believe. But she had called me and told me that Steve, and now he was Uncle Steve, had touched her daughter. And the only thing I could think of is I have to call my mom and find out how she is. So I called her, and it was really weird. She acted as if nothing happened, that everything was fine. And then I asked her, well, haven't you talked to your sister? And she said, yes. I go, well, what about Steve? And she said, we've been through this before. Everything is fine. He's going to go down and talk to them. There's nothing to worry about. And right then, a red flag went off. I needed to go to the doctor, and I thought I could leave my son, who wasn't even 2, off at their house because I'd only be gone a half hour. And when I got back from the doctors, my son was on his lap in the back. I told my mother never, ever to leave my children alone with him, and this is what she did. Things just started coming back to me that night, and I was just in the fetal position all night long, crying. And what it boils down to is that my entire life was a lie. My mother never loved me. She abused me. As a mom, you're supposed to protect your kids and love them and never let anything happen to them, and she knew that he had molested my brothers, and she married him anyways, and she's still married to him today. She's still married to him. So the big news in 2010 was that they had uncovered new evidence from the Vatican and the diocese, in which they, in Keesley's case, what they found out as far as a timeline goes, and I never knew this before, was that in 1968 he had molested his first victim. It was a boy. And then in 1969 he had molested another victim, and this one was a girl. And the disgusting part of that is that he entered the seminary, and the diocese knew of these two children that he had already abused, and they let him into the seminary and eventually ordained him a priest, knowing he had already molested two children. This we did not know before. I'm definitely a stronger person. I take on anything, and I have confidence in myself. And just knowing that I was strong and that I stood up to this and let everybody know what happened, you feel good. You feel empowered. And even if it just helps one other person, all of it is worth it.